Okay, so GOP Senator-elect Tommy Tuberville has indicated that he may team up with House Republican Mo Brooks and challenge the electoral vote count that takes place on January 6th of 2020 to determine who the president of the United States is officially. We had the popular vote. The electors have cast their votes. We know that the electors have cast their votes in favor of Joe Biden, generally speaking, and he is slated to win the presidency if the vote goes as it has gone. However, there is still the final possibility that someone will challenge the electoral votes on January 6th. And how that happens is a House member and a Senate member get together and they challenge the veracity of the electoral vote count. And when they do that, each chamber, the House and the Senate, are constitutionally required to take 2 hours of time to debate the challenge and then vote in support of the challenge or vote against the challenge. If they vote against the challenge, then the original electoral votes that were read by the vice president stand. If one chamber votes for the challenge and one chamber votes against the challenge, the likeliest sort of outcome for this would be that the Senate votes for the challenge and the House votes against the challenge, breaking down by Republican and Democrat. If that happens, the original votes counted by the vice president still stand. If both houses vote for the challenge, if they both agree after 2 hours of debate and vote in favor of the challenge, then they go to what seems to be a contested election, which would be a 12th Amendment issue, where suddenly we've got the House delegation deciding who gets to be president based on the delegation of states in the House majority vote. So how that breaks down is largely in favor of Republicans, although, of course, there is no guarantee that those Republicans would end up voting for Donald Trump or Joe Biden or anything. A lot could happen in that scenario. This is a very, very unlikely outcome. It's not unlikely that Tommy Tuberville and Mo Brooks actually stand up and do oppose the electoral votes that are read. I know there are many, many people out there who believe that the electoral votes were improper, that there was some sort of either fraud or the votes were unconstitutional or something along the lines. There's a lot of different opinions on how that, on what exactly makes the votes ineligible. There's a lot of different ways for people to get there, and so it's certainly possible that one senator and one House member will stand up and challenge that vote. But the likelihood of the vote actually being overturned by that action is really, really low. And part of the reason we have for that is the Democrat-controlled House. The other part of that reason is that the GOP senators, as stated in this news story, which will be linked down in the description below if you want to read the whole thing, we'll take a quick look at it. But the GOP senators and the establishment GOP in specific have advised against this action, have advised against Tommy Tuberville standing up in the first place, and they further advised against other Republicans from going along with the challenge, saying it would be a political mess. This includes Mitch McConnell, John Thune, and John Cornyn, who are all listed in this article as having negative statements about this possibility. So the question will, of course, be in the hands of each senator, as they may be facing re-election in 2, 4, or 6 years, depending on their personal election cycles, on how much political fallout they think they would have from either supporting the president or not supporting the president in the event of a challenge. And this is a big question for the GOP and the individual GOP members, and it'll probably have a lot to do with their individual states and how those states are situated. John Cornyn, of course, is a Texas senator, but so is Ted Cruz. They may have different sort of ideas about how to approach this. Texas itself, the Texas electors, have called out the United States Supreme Court, saying that their refusal to listen to Texas election challenge in the Supreme Court, for which they dismissed for lack of standing, was a disgrace, basically, that the Supreme Court abdicated its responsibility in refusing to take on that case. So, who knows what John Cornyn and Ted Cruz will do, much less any other Republican senators who are out there. Rand Paul has talked about fraud in this election, as have other senators. So we'll see what happens on January 6th. Again, the unlikely but still possible result is that this is challenged and that some sort of thing happens from that challenge. But I must reiterate, that is a very, very low possibility, as a disagreement between the House and Senate will go ahead and keep whatever original votes are read by Mike Pence on January 6th. So it would take a pretty extreme act to have both houses agree with the challenge and to overturn the purported votes. So that's that's the story. That's the possibility. That's kind of the breakdown on why this question even exists. If you have anything to say, drop it down in the comments below. If I see it, maybe we'll get some interaction and have a discussion. Hope you guys have a great day. Have a great Christmas, by the way. I'm recording this on December 25th. Have a good night. Peace. Peace.